Good morning and welcome to Michigan Farm and Garden. I'm Jody Pollock-Newsome and I'm your host. We have a great show lined up for you this morning. This morning we are going to talk to you about some upcoming conferences. We're also going to give you a little bit of information about food safety and some changes from FDA. Stay tuned. Good morning, and again, welcome to Michigan Farm and Garden. Folks, it's certainly, here we are into January, in the throes of winter, and certainly for us in agriculture, that means that it is meeting season, conference season, a great time for growers to get together, learn new information, share information, and also get some updates and learn some of the things that are going to be coming and things that are going to be changing. So there's some stuff coming up that I wanted to make sure we talked about. So the show this morning is really going to get you some information, let you know what's coming up conference-wise, and let you know what's coming up as far as some changes from FDA for those of you that deal certainly with the food type commodities and certainly with processing. So my first guest this morning is Dale Roseboom. He is with Michigan State University, and we're going to talk about the Growing Michigan Ag Conference. That is a newer conference here in the state, and certainly when we look at the past year with some of the weather challenges, there are a lot of things that can be learned. Hopefully we don't have those weather issues again very soon, but we want to make sure that we gather from those, we learn some things from those, and we're able to share that information with growers. Then I also have with me this morning Juanita and Scott Cook. They are from Northern Michigan. We're going to talk about their operation. We're going to talk with Scott about how he started his business. And then we're going to talk about an upcoming conference, the Northern Michigan Small Farm Conference. Certainly there's a lot of opportunities when we look at agriculture, a lot of opportunities for entrepreneurs. So we're going to talk about that conference and specifically some of the things that are going on for the young folks, that next generation that's coming up that's going to look out for us in agriculture. Then I also have with me this morning Byron Beerbower. Byron is with the Michigan Department of Ag and Rural Development, and we are going to talk a little bit about food safety. Certainly that time of the year, the Super Bowl is coming up. There's weather challenges that come up. We want to make sure we get that food safety back top of mind in case there are some issues. And then we also want to talk about some changes coming from FDA. Folks, there's going to be a lot of great information. We're going to wrap the show up with a very easy recipe for broccoli stuffed fish rolls. It's going to be a great show. Stay tuned, and we will be back with our first guest right after the Michigan Farm and Garden Fact of the Week.
It's time for the Michigan Farm and Garden Fact of the Week.
Michigan's food and agriculture sector contributes an estimated $91.4 billion to Michigan's economy. That's an increase of more than 50% between 2004 and 2010. For more information, go to productcenter.msu.edu. And welcome back. We are back with Dale Roseboom of the Growing Michigan Ag Conference and Michigan State. You wear a lot of hats.
I wear a lot of hats. Jody, it's good to be back and visit with you today. Appreciate it.
It's good to have you here. And, you know, we talked a little bit about last season was so crazy. There really was a lot to be learned.
A lot to be learned, and the learning will continue. We went through the drought of last year, and it affected all of agriculture. It affected a number of crop growers. The variation across the state, we have severe drought even yet. We're looking for snow in the southwest part of the state. Other parts of the state are not listed by NOAA as in the drought. Other parts of the country are in severe drought. I just had a colleague from Iowa State write me, and he is very concerned about the lack of snowfall in Iowa, and there's a lot of talk about well problems in the future, possibly in parts of our country. So this weather thing has really got us thinking, how do we raise food?
Well, it's so important, and I think, too, to be able to have all those different components, especially when you look at a state like ours. I mean, there's so many different commodities that are affected.
A lot of different commodities. We've got, you know, the dairy, the beef, and the lamb industries concerned about forage production and how do we continue to feed those animals. And then we've got poultry, pork industries that I work more closely with. you know, trying to find feedstuffs and affordable feedstuffs and stay profitable.
Well, it is certainly going to be a challenging year as we kind of come out of the drought, figure what do we do till the next crop is in, and I know you've been working with some colleagues on a conference to help provide some of that information.
Been working on the conference, and before I mention the conference, there's just the one other thing that's come into play, and that's the extension of the Farm Bill. And when we had that extension, what happens is that the Farm Bill, for a short period of time, will revert back to some things. And how that comes into play and how that impacts farmers is another significant question that we're watching.
Oh, and that's a good point, because a lot of us, I think we thought, oh, you know, we had Senator Stafford on the show and we were hopeful something would happen, and that does make a difference for planning and for costs.
Yep, and so we have developed a conference, and at that conference we want to address weather, soil health, we want to address the Farm Bill, and we're going to address feedstuffs, volatility, and food safety.
Wow, it's going to be a full day.
Full day. We've got some excellent speakers lined up. We've got Dave Schweikart from our own MSU going to talk about the Farm Bill, because each and every day something new is developing with that. We got Dave on board to talk about that. We've got Julie Funk from our College of Vet Med to talk about food safety. Julie is a researcher on that, and so that's a key topic. We've got Bernie Irvin coming from Ohio State University. Bernie's going to talk about hiring the right employees, keeping the right employees, and we think that that's an excellent topic across all of our specialty crop industries as well as our livestock industries where we're hiring employees. So that was an important topic. We've got Dr. Donald Rakowski to come in and talk about soil health, and that would be under minimum tillage, under irrigation, all types of approaches to agriculture. And we think he's an outstanding speaker and looking forward to having him present as well. And then we've got our own specialist talking about feedstuffs and volatility and where do we get that.
So, and I know too there's some really good farmer involvement.
Excellent farmer involvement. We really think that that's a key part of it. So we have a farmer panel and a round table with farmers at the end of our morning session where we can talk about how do we take this information, take it home, and put it into our production so it has an impact. We're really concerned about that. We want that to be a product of our conference, and so we get them involved and have them help us determine what's valuable.
Well, and I think that's one of the things in agriculture. I mean, in essence, you're kind of competitors with your neighbor, but also you're still on the same team. So there's a lot of good networking, a lot of good sharing of information.
I agree with you totally. Good sharing of information and good interaction. And I think farmers have the opportunity to listen to those that are on the panel and learn from them what they might have done. I've done a lot of this kind of thing, farmer tours in the past and so forth. Farmers learning from farmers works most effectively.
Well, and certainly too, the nice thing is they can always go to their neighbors, you can see what they're doing, you pass the field, or you can go to the operation and really kick the tires and really learn what happened, how did that work, and I think a nice thing about farmers too is they share what does work and they also share what doesn't.
Yeah, and I failed to mention one of our other speakers is coming, Dr. Luck from Nebraska, and he's going to talk about precision ag. And the reason it popped into my head now is that the speakers will stay there as well for the roundtable discussion. The speakers will be available to answer questions of producers. And so when you learn something from Nebraska, you got someone coming from Ohio, you've got someone coming from USDA soils, you've got people that are traveling and exposed to new ideas, new inputs, new technologies. So I think farmers can visit with them during the roundtable session, visit with other producers and see that dialogue, listen to that dialogue and learn a lot.
Well, and let's tell folks the who, what, where, when, what do we need to do, cost, all that kind of stuff.
Sure. The conference registration is $50. And the event is next week on the 24th, Thursday, all day at the Lansing Center here in Lansing. And we take registrations into next week. We're happy to have producers and others call and register. They can call A&R Conference Services at 517-353-3175 and go to extension 229 and register that way, or they can go online.
And I will put the link. The link is really long, so I will put it on MichiganFarmingGarden.com.
Thank you.
Yeah, we don't want you to have to try and go through all that. That's really tough. So, well, Dale, we appreciate it and appreciate all the work to get the information together. And hopefully we never have a year like we had last year, but at least as we have those different components, our farmers will be ready. Our farmers will be ready, and we'll continue to work together to do that. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Folks, certainly I will put the link on MichiganFarmingGarden.com. Get there, link over, you can learn more about the conference. Great place to go to find out what do you do with some of the extremes that happened in a year like we had last year. Stay tuned, we'll be back right after this message.
The Cherry Marketing Institute wants you to know about tart cherries. Cherry's red color comes from powerful antioxidants. Available year-round, it's easy to incorporate cherries into your daily diet. Visit choosecherries.com.
Michigan's 1,000 apple growers take pride in producing delicious apples from one generation to the next. From the Great Lakes come great flavors. Look for locally grown Michigan apples.
Have Jody speak at your next agricultural event. Go to jodylive.com.
And welcome back. We are back with Juanita Cook and Scott Cook of Cook Family Farm. Welcome to the show this morning.
Thank you, Jody. It's nice to be here.
It's good to have you here, and I think we'll go ahead and Juanita start with you and have you tell us a little bit about the operation and what it is you guys do, because it's very unique.
Yes, it is very unique. Our farm wasn't a farm. When we moved on to the acreage, we only had 10 acres. There wasn't a building there. The plan was not to be in this agriculture business, but due to some circumstances, that's where we moved into, and I'm so thankful that we are in this. It's an exciting time. One thing that we really, a few things that we as Tom and I, my husband and I, work towards is to be able to raise animals that are very healthy. We're very health conscious as far as how the animals are raised. We like to say we're pasture raised and GMO free grains. That's our goal, to produce meat that has been raised that way, free of antibiotics, MSGs, nitrates. I call it my alphabet soup. And so we have learned that we needed to be diverse because of having that small acreage, not having a family farm that's been passed to us. We need to be diverse, and we need to find a niche market. And we work really hard at marketing in very different ways. Farmers markets, on the farm we have a store too, and we do have some larger places that sell some of our meat as well.
Well, and I've been to your website, and you do have a little bit of everything, and a very, very beautiful family too.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
Very nice. You can tell it's kind of a fun way to grow up, huh?
Yes.
Well, and Scott, I know you've kind of taken that and talking with Juanita, it is important that you're looking at that entrepreneur side of things.
Yes.
And you've got a business going yourself. I'm going to have you tell us.
Yes, I do. I started when I was about 8 years old. I got some chickens and started with the eggs, so now I'm up to probably around 800 laying chickens right now.
Wow, 800. That's quite a job.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So how do you start with something like that as far as going out and finding that clientele, or restaurants or stores or farmers markets?
You know, it just started real slow, you know, just a few people. And then as it grew, it just got bigger, and then I'm now in a few stores and in a few restaurants, you know, just went and got them, and then the counts keep growing.
Well, so it's certainly being there, I would think there's a lot of cleaning, a lot of work, a lot of labor that's involved with that.
Yes, it takes quite a couple hours every day to do everything and take care of it all.
Well, and what have you found as far as you've went out? Are people interested in that, you know, knowing you, Scott, that you're the one that's taking care of the chickens and it's your business?
Yes, it's more you know, you got to make sure, find the people that care about what they want to eat and not just, you know, care about what is in it as far as the healthy and that to help, yes.
Well, and when we look at this, you know, one of the things we want to talk about is this conference is coming up, and I know that's something you've been involved with and even spoken at.
Yes, I have been. I've been going to it for at least about 10 years, and I've spoke at it for 2 years. I spoke 1 year on my chickens and our farm, and then the other year about how you can use draft horses and farm, and did a it'll show how to do that. So.
Well, and we have draft horses, so that totally gets to my heartstrings. I think that's awesome to be able to share some of that information. You know, Dale and I talked about in agriculture, we are so good about sharing what we do and helping others. Let's talk a little bit about how the conference is going to help set this up and help other folks get started.
Well, it's really exciting, Jody. Like Scott said, he and his brother, older brother, has been going to the conference since before there was a youth program. And they went to the adult programs, but they were very young. And I saw that there was a need for a youth track. We call them tracks. And just like it's important for us to have a track for the production of animals and a track for vegetables and different tracks, well, there needs to be a track too for youth. And so thankfully there was great support amongst the people on the board to move forward and to put this into play. And we brought in Daniel Soliton for our first two conferences, and we wanted people to realize that we were taking this very serious and we were going to put that value on the youth. They're up and coming, they're our next generation. And one of the goals that we tried to do is very diverse through the whole conference, for adults also, but for the youth we wanted much diversity so that they knew that you can do everything from animal to flowers to berries to anything and everything. Just there are options out there. They can see what other people have done and where those people are now.
Well, and I think it's so nice too, Scott, to have you involved in that, to be able to show what you can do, because it's a lot of hard work. But I mean, at your young age, you already have a business up and started, and you know how to make things happen.
Yes, and that's one thing about the youth. They have, with the people they bring in, it's people that are either still youth or have started, and they tell you how you can do it starting out young and how to, you know, make the decisions and how to grow.
So, and that is so exciting because, you know, when you brought it up, and we know each other from old FFA days. Yes. We won't say how long ago. No. But, you know, just looking at that, what a neat way to get started, and what a neat way to learn some of those skills at such a nice young age to really develop those.
Absolutely. You know, our youth are so vital. They are our next generation. And, you know, we hear so much negative about youth today, and I like to focus on the positive. This generation is wonderful, and they have so many options and opportunities before them that maybe weren't available 20 years ago or so. Now we are so much into niche marketing, and it's exciting.
Well, and I know I always talk way too much. I always run short on time, but I want to make sure we talk about where is it, when is it. I want folks to be able to get registered, get there, and learn more.
Absolutely. This conference is held on Saturday, January 26th, so it's up and coming. Our deadline is this Saturday, the day of airing of this program. So if you want to be registered, it's really important that they go online to our website and get registered as soon as possible. We still have some room, but we are looking at a capacity of about 800 attendees. So it's a big conference. And we really want to encourage adults as well as the youth. The youth is our push today, because I personally, that's my passion, and that's what I love to see, those seats filled and those minds being filled with ideas.
Well, Olita, we appreciate it and all you're doing. And Scott, congratulations and good job. That is a wonderful way to grow a business, and I think to show folks what you can do at such a young age. So keep up the good work.
Thanks.
And folks, get out there. We'll make sure you get registered for the conference. You'll be linked from Michigan Farm and Garden. Get on there, get registered. Certainly go learn more about agriculture and what you can do with all the ag that we have across this great state. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message.
This chicken is beak over claw for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one chicken may not be too much to cluck about, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing: our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
And welcome back. We are back with Byron Beerbower of the Michigan Department of Ag and Rural Development. I finally have that rural development down.
It takes a while.
It does. Welcome back, and I have to say I kind of think of you as Mr. Food Safety.
Oh, good. I'm okay with that.
That's a good title?
Yeah.
Well, certainly, you know, food safety, I don't think we can take it for granted, and I never think we can talk about it enough. If anybody has ever had food poisoning, you don't ever want it again. It's horrible.
No, it's horrible, and especially with all the people coming and visiting, and you know, Super Bowl's coming up, and you're going to have some people over, and you're going to start maybe making a little bit more food than you normally do, and putting it out and holding it for the party. You know, want to keep reminding yourself of those basic things. You know, if it's going to be hot, keep it hot. You know, get a warmer, put it on, keep it in the oven until everybody gets there, and then once you've eaten and everybody's kind of had enough, let it cool down. Let it cool down on the counter until you can actually touch it, and then put it in the refrigerator. If you've got it in a big roasting pan, take it out of the roasting pan and put it in a cake pan. That means that the more air goes around it and it'll cool down faster, and you can eat it for leftovers later or reheat it in the microwave, and you don't have to deal with transferring pans and all of that at that point. And after a bit, after it's cooled down, cover it up with a piece of plastic, and you know, you're ready to go.
Well, and I think that's so important, because sometimes time totally gets away from you when you have folks coming over and you have food out. You know, I've done that, looked and been like, oh, wait, yeah, that needs to get put away quick.
Or, you know, sometimes you hate to do it, but you really need to say, you know what, it's not worth being sick or getting my friends sick. We'll just have to throw it away, and there's lots and lots of food.
Yes.
You know, so it's kind of one of those things. But if you do it, plan it ahead, then you've already told yourself, oh yeah, I need to do that. So it's really easy to follow up and do.
Well, and I think nowadays too, I know for the holidays, there's all these different little crock pot things, all these different warmer things. And if you're somebody, we tend to host all the family get-togethers for the holidays. So I actually have 2 shelves in my garage, which is nothing but crock pots.
And it's those are great tools. Use them.
Yeah, that way I don't have to remember, and I don't have to watch my clock.
That's right. Keep it simple. The easier it is, the better it is.
Yep. Hot, cold, pretty simple rule, and wash your hands as much as you can.
Yeah, especially right now with the flu season coming along and lots of people are getting sick. You know, don't forget to wash your hands every single time you touch the food or come back into the kitchen. You know, it's really good basic food safety stuff, just like your mom taught you. You know, wash your hands, put it away, cover it up. Don't do something stupid.
There you go. There you go. And I can certainly attest to that with the cold season going on right now. So, and I've washed my hands many times already this morning. So, well, and besides like the basic food safety, there are some big changes that are coming from FDA.
Definitely. One of the things you heard earlier with your 2 guests earlier, they're talking about farm safety and making produce and growing produce on the farm. And the Food and Drug Administration has worked on the idea of developing a preventive controls process. They want to get ahead of having to go out after the fact. So they're starting to think about a couple of rules. One is preventive controls rules, and that means that if you're a food processor or a farmer who's growing and processing food on the farm, you're going to have to come up with a food safety plan on how you're going to make sure your food processing facility is producing safe food. The other thing that they're doing, and I think this is really important, especially to the farmers in the world and the small fruit and vegetable growers, is they have a produce safety rule. And this is a big change. They've actually said we want to attack the food safety process from the farm to the fork. And where we're going is that farm level. We want to take the farmer and ask the question, do you have a food safety plan that addresses how you train your workers and how they wash their hands when they work in the fields? How do you manage the water that you're using to irrigate or that you're washing your produce with? How are you managing the manure if you're using manure? Are you composting it or using it raw? Those types of things. Again, focusing on the food safety aspects of it. And the thing is, this is a brand new rule. It's a big change for the FDA, so they published the rule and it's out there for comment. And what that means is you as a farmer, you as an individual have the opportunity to comment on the rule. So if you go to the FDA's website, go to FDA and type in Food Safety Modernization Act, FSMA, you can see the rule and it will tell you how how to comment on the rule. So read through it, take a quick look at the frequently asked questions, follow up on that. And I think it's, you know, we have a great diversity of agriculture in Michigan, and the department wants to support those growers, whether we're working with MSU Extension or trying to get this information out to as many people as we can, because it is important. We want to continue to grow our agriculture because it is some of the coolest stuff in the world.
Well, and I would say too, one of the things from the Michigan side, we've really always been on the cutting edge. And I think this shows, again, proactive to work with farmers and say, this is what's coming, let us help you. And I know you guys are doing some education, let us help you so you're ready.
Exactly. I mean, with this is a big change. This is going to be a lot of work in some places. And if you're a produce grower and you're starting to sell into the Spartan stores or the Meijer stores or the Walmarts of the world, and you want to grow to that point where you can, you're going to be asked to do this. Even though you're very small and maybe exempt from the rule, the people who are buying from you aren't exempt from the rule, and they're going to ask you to have a food safety plan in place. And if you can start developing that food safety plan, maybe using the Safe Food Assist, the Farm Assist program that we have with the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, that's a good tool to help you start identifying those food safety practices on the farm. And it's a very cool tool, and it's available on our website. You know, so you've got a couple of different resources to go to, and I know that we're working with MSU, and we're going to have some more information up on their website too about farm safety through the MSU Extension.
Great. Well, Byron, we appreciate it. It's good to know what's coming and what's out there, and we will have you back as this further evolves and as there's meetings and other opportunities. Folks, we will make sure you know what's coming, what you need to stay on top of to make sure that we keep Michigan on the cutting edge when it comes to our production and also our food safety. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message with a great recipe for broccoli fish rolls.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
And welcome back. And certainly we know the importance of agriculture here in our state. Just a little bit more information this morning, how you can learn more. And this is actually taking some great Michigan products and making a very good and really, really easy recipe. Actually, I have to tell you, this was great because Rachel actually was able to help Brett as they pulled this together. You're going to go ahead and you're going to take your broccoli. Go ahead and steam your broccoli so that you have that cooked. Then you will go ahead and you take your walleye fillets, and we just cut them thin. So basically they would go up around the broccoli. Then you're going to take your butter, your water, and your chicken bouillon, mix all that together. And then it's really easy. You're just going to take that fish and roll that around the broccoli. And then you can see there's little toothpicks. That's what Rachel did. Brett rolled it. She stuck in the toothpick. She was very, very excited. And you know what? They always want to eat more of what they helped you make. Put it in the oven and bake it on 350. I think it was about 10 to 15 minutes, just until the fish is done, but still nice and flaky. Very, very easy and a very healthy recipe. If you would like this recipe, as always, you can visit us online at Michigan Farm and Garden, or you can write to Michigan Farm and Garden Recipes, P.O. Box 461, Williamston, Michigan 48895. I do want to thank Stella Armstrong of Flint. She is the one that sent me this recipe. If you have recipes or if you have ideas, things like this that are so easy, please send those to me and we'll make sure we work them into a show. Certainly when we have things that are in season, so we can share those great recipes with other folks across the state. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you back here next weekend. Bye-bye.